Hey there guys, Glenn here from the Beardyman Craft Beer channel. Thanks very much for joining me on another episode. Now, today I'm here in the beautiful town of Kinsale in County Cork in Ireland. The reason is because Sam Black from Black's Brewery and Distillery has invited me out to his brand new state-of-the-art brewing and distillation facility. I'm going to meet Sam now up in the Lagoon Bar for a drink, and Sam is going to talk to me on everything to do with his experience and his journey from that very first day that his wife Madeline gave him a Valentine's present all the way to this wonderful brewing and distillery facility. So without further ado, let's go up and meet Sam. Wow, Sam, what an amazing place overlooking the River Bandon and Ring Finnan off in the distance. Now, most homebrewers like myself can only dream of one day starting up a brewery. Yourself and your wife, Madeline, you guys have been living the dream since 2013. And of course, it all started, I believe, as a hobby after Maud gave you a homebrewing kit for Valentine's Day many years ago, which quickly became an obsession and a burning desire to experiment and create. So, homebrewing kit to a state-of-the-art brewing and distillery facility. Tell us a little bit about that journey before all of this happened.
Yeah, so I suppose it'd be 11th year this year, so we started in 2013, and it all began really when my wife Maud gave me a homebrewing kit for a Valentine's Day present, which means that she's kind of to blame for all of this, you know?
Okay.
So like most homebrewers, you know, I started brewing and I just fell in love with the hobby, and, you know, I started thinking maybe this could be something, like maybe this could be a business, maybe I could do this. And at the time there was like a load of really good podcasts from the US breweries about starting a brewery and do you want to own your own brewery. So I kind of, I was working contracts engineering at the time, and I kind of was homebrewing for a while, and the beer was getting good, getting great feedback, everyone really liked it. I did a couple of brewing courses, and then in 2013 we just decided to go for it, you know. Mm-hmm. So Maud kept working, I was in the business on my own, in the brewery on my own, kind of brewing one day a week, and then doing like deliveries, packaging, marketing, sales, everything else on the other days, you know. And continued like that for a year or so, and then I got kind of the first employee and then the second employee, but real slow growth. Like, it was a great time in Irish craft beer. There wasn't a lot of other breweries around. Okay. There was a big wave kind of came in after we did, like 2014, a load opened. But we were kind of there in terms of like a pale ale. There wasn't a lot really on the market.
So you came in just at the right time.
Just hit it right. We got lucky with distribution. And the first problem we had was equipment. You know, we didn't have enough tanks. Okay. You know, so it was like, can we raise enough capital to get another tank in so we can brew 2, 3, 4 days a week? And that for years, that was our biggest headache, was equipment. Whereas now you're looking at sales. You know? Yeah. It's like, I've got all the gear, now I need to sell it, you know? So that was like really a slow growth, but it kind of like a nice trajectory and growing every year. More sales, more turnover, more accounts, you know, national listings with the big supermarkets. Great support from the kind of really early on craft beer bars. At that time would have been like the Franwell and the Bull and Castle and places like that, you know, they were the places to be. And like they came on and developed, and then new ones opened. So there was always a market for different kegs of different things. So we kind of rode that wave, and it was great, you know. Brilliant. Yeah, and then from the distilling point of view, in 2015 we added a small gin still, and Maud came into the business at that stage then, and she kind of like headed up that side of things. Okay. And again, that was just as the wave of gins were coming along. So we were very small scale. We started with just a 20 litre still, and we got 200 litres still, and now obviously we have you know the big stills. But yeah, we kind of rode that wave, and then we started doing rum. So we'll be Ireland's first domestic rum.
Why rum?
I just love rum. Okay. It's much easier to get into than whiskey. You haven't got the same restrictions. There's quite a lot of rules and regulations around making Irish whiskey. There isn't really any for rum. Okay. There's no age, so you could make your rum and you could age it and have it in a year and you could sell it. Yeah. Whereas the whiskey, your minimum is 3 years. And I've just always been a big fan, big drinker.
And there's a big audience there now in Ireland for
definitely
drinkers.
Yeah, more and more. It's growing. It's kind of like it hasn't had its day yet.
Oh yeah.
There's always like it's the next big thing, but it hasn't been the next big thing. But if it does pick up like that, we're all lined up and ready.
And where in the world is rum big? Like, would it be in the States or would it be in?
Yeah, it's big in the States. It's big in France. It's big in a lot of countries. Spain, they drink a lot of rum as well. You know. But we just have I suppose we have a domestic brown spirit, which is whiskey, and that's the dominant one. And Irish whiskey's growing so quickly at the moment, and it's really like this dominant force throughout the world, so it's pushing through, you know.
Yeah.
And I suppose our Irish whiskey journey began with poitín, pre the GI came in, the geographic indicator for whiskey, and you could make poitín quite simply. So we had a few poitíns out on the market, and then the GI came in and it changed the rules. You had to have 2 stills, and all this paperwork, jump through these hoops. So we haven't done one since, but we will be bringing one back this year for sure. So 2020, we got our whiskey stills. So one of the rules is you have to have 2 stills. They have to be of a certain size. So we got all that organised in 2020 and started distilling as well, distilling Irish whiskey, which is kind of, it goes hand in hand with brewing a lot of the ways, because the first part of making a whiskey is making a beer. It's just a beer with no hops. So you know, it's the same equipment. We have the brew house that does both. So we do a wash, or we do a brew for beer. And we don't add the hops in for the wash. That's the only real difference. And then like we can use different malts, crystal malts, specialty malts, malted barley. Like along with the malted barley, we can, you know, do roast barley or whatever into a pot still whiskey, and that still meets the requirements of the GI, but gives you a really different and unusual take on Irish whiskey as well. You know, so that kind of excited us as an idea as well. And then the other great synergy we have is that, you know, we have whiskey casks that we're emptying and bottling whiskey, and then we can put beer into those, imperial stouts, and come up with these big, lovely, barrel-aged beers.
Absolutely.
And then the other way, you know, we have a barrel-aged beer, and then we take the beer out and put the whiskey in, and you get like a whiskey that has a characteristic or flavour from the beer as well. So like we see loads of great synergies between, it's the same guys brewing and distilling, and they understand the process and the overlaps between them, and then we have the barrels going back and forth between the process.
That's great as well. With the overlap between the two, you've just explained it the way you can go one direction and then, you know, a year later then you take it a different direction. And you can like specifically design a beer that you want to create a barrel that you want for a whiskey that you want as well, you know. So you kind of like, you know, your palette of options is expanded out. And then even with like yeast selection, you know, a lot of distilleries would typically be quite conventional with the yeast that they use for distilling, because they want a high alcohol wash that comes out, and they want kind of quick fermentation, so they can turn around in 3 or 4 days, and then they're into the distilling phase. Whereas we can, or we do, maybe use a brewing yeast one day, maybe use a wine yeast, maybe use a combination of a distiller's yeast and a brewing yeast. If you want to make like a really nice kind of wheat beer flavored wash that you want to then turn into a whiskey and see what that's like. You know, it's all available. Like, and especially if you're running up a big batch of something as a beer. And you have yeast then, you know, massive crop of yeast then, you can do all kinds of things with that too. Like, so brilliant. So it's really, I mean, for us, it seems like it all comes together and works really nicely, you know. Stan, before we get into talking about this amazing place, can you give my viewers a very quick overview of both the beers and the spirits that you're well known here in Ireland for handcrafting?
Yeah, I suppose beers wise, Kinsale Pale Ale would be like the first beer we started with. It'd be our biggest selling and most well-known beer. It'd be about 80% of our beer sales. It's available on draft, it's available in can, 330 and 440 this year, and it's in 500ml bottle as well. So it's kind of got a big wide spread. It's a very approachable pale ale, 5%, lovely tropical fruity flavor profile, good bitterness. And I created that beer really as a version of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. You know? That was kind of my inspiration for it, but then punched in with more Citra hops, because I'm just mad about Citra hops.
I gotcha,
and that, I mean, funny with that beer, you know, when I first started making it, you could get Citra, and then about a year in, you couldn't, you know, so it was like, oh shit, you know, I used the wrong hop. It just, you know, with hops, you get these scarcities that come through, and Citra was just popping off everywhere at that stage, and the prices were going up, so it was kind of like hold the line and try and keep going. And luckily we managed to, between contracts and like spot buys, we managed to keep it going. And then it was Amarillo became the one you couldn't get after that. You know?
Those two hops, you can't go wrong there. Like, pale ale.
Yeah, so that would be the main beer still, and then we have a tropical IPA, which is a pineapple, mango, passion fruit beer with fruit. So it's got the hops to give kind of those tropical fruity flavors, and some fruit extracts as well. And then we have a couple of gluten-free beers. We have a 1601 lager on a bottle. And we have a new citrus chiller, which is like an IPL.
Okay.
Gluten-free as well.
Gluten-free.
Yeah.
It's become quite popular, actually, the gluten-free now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's become like technically quite easy to do in a brewing process. And
Right.
it's not going to make a massive difference to the flavour profile of the beer. So that's why everyone should at least have one in the arsenal, you know. So we've one in bottle, one in can. And then we've done loads of specials over the years. In some years we'd have done maybe 10, 12 specials in the year, you know. So we've had some real great beers over the years. The core range has got a little bit smaller, consolidated a little bit.
Okay.
And this year now we have a new canning line here in the new facility. So we're going to do more specials, small batch stuff.
Nice.
You know, maybe can off 100 cases, have it on the bar here on draft.
Okay.
A couple of specialist beer bars. If you like a pint here, you can buy a case, take it home with you, kind of thing.
Brilliant.
So we'll bring back some of our, you know, classic ones like the High Vis Double IPA, the Session, which was a lovely 3.5% pale ale.
I like that.
We had like the Rocket Ship, 6.5% kind of English style. And then loads of like Pineapple Express and different with lovely, some lovely sours, dry hop sours. In the summer before.
And
so
the barrel age, you had the World's End, is it?
World's End we do every year.
Yeah.
So that's our chocolate vanilla imperial stout. Yeah. Yeah, so it's
my go-to stout.
It's a good Christmassy, it's a good winter beer, we'll say.
That's a fantastic beer.
We normally brew it kind of September, October time.
Yeah.
It's got cacao nibs
Yes.
and cacao husks in it, and a load of vanilla, like real vanilla goes into the fermenter. It's an 8% or 8.5, depending on where it ends up.
How do you use the vanilla? Is it the actual pod itself?
Yeah,
or?
pods, yeah. Pods, so we just split them, we bag them, and then we normally soak them in poutine or vodka, and then we just add them into the fermenter, and then we just wait. Do you know? There's a lot of specialty malts in the beers, about 8 different specialty malts, including quite a lot of roast barley. So I don't know how technical you want these things, but like that could take a while to mellow.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So that beer could be conditioning for 8 weeks.
Yes.
The vanilla might go in after a week.
Okay.
And then you might be tasting it once, twice a week. So can't taste the vanilla yet, and all of a sudden it comes.
It hits you. And you don't want to overdo the vanilla either, because the vanilla can overpower
the other flavors,
especially with imperial stouts or stouts.
Yeah, so great beer. We brew it every year, and we just do a limited. It was just started with 1 brew, then it was 3, then it was 4, then it was 5. You know, bottles, then cans, small cans. Now the 440ml can seems to be a good format for it. And we'll just keep brewing it in the kind of autumn for release in the winter.
Brilliant.
And when it's gone, it's gone. It's normally sold out before Christmas. Like
yeah. Do us a favour, don't ever stop brewing it.
No, we keep going with that one. That's a good one. We had it in the bar here on Nitro as well. That was lovely.
Right.
Yeah, added another dimension to it.
Yeah.
So definitely it's
really
a possibility.
smooth.
Yeah, smooth it out. And lovely head as well.
Okay.
Just for that familiar kind of stout head.
Yes.
You know, but with that real big lovely flavour behind it. So I think, you know, there's a possibility a Nitro can of that could be a great development of that brand, you know.
Technical?
How do you mean?
Like with the nitro cans?
Yeah. It's a bit more complicated. Yeah. So the canning line has to have a special nitro pellet inserter, and the cans are a little bit different. Yeah, but it's gone beyond the days of widgets. It's something that any brewery can access the technology now, so it's not kind of like tied up in like certain breweries.
Now to move on to this wonderful place that surrounds us. Tell me a little bit about the design and the layout of the new brewery and distillery. Like, what were the key considerations in creating a modern and functional space for both brewing and distilling operations?
Yeah, so I suppose the first kind of consideration we had with the development is planning permission. There was an existing building here, so we were a little bit confined into the existing footprint of that. But luckily it was a master building that was here before. And that was just an old ruin. It was all asbestos and everything, you know. So the planners and everyone locally was happy to see the back of that.
Oh, good.
So we kind of replaced that with a modern steel frame building with insulated cladding panels. I mean, when you're building a brewery or distillery, you just want a lot of space, like a big open space where you can have everything in one big hall. So that's what we've created here. We moved over our brewery and our stills and all of our existing equipment and kind of fitted them into that space.
Okay.
And then we've ended up with a little bit of extra space, which is great. We're about 3 times the size of our last place here, you know?
Okay.
And then I suppose the new things about this place is that we have the bar.
Yes.
And then
the Lagoon Bar.
The Lagoon Bar, which is kind of this phase of development.
Yeah.
And then we have another phase of development that will be happening over the winter this year. And then that will have a full visitor centre with a restaurant and another couple of bars.
Wow. Okay.
So that's kind of a bigger operation, more of the kind of front of house nice stuff like this.
Yeah.
But the brewery floor and everything is all set up now and exactly how we want it.
Okay. I'd love to say, so you're taking it all in small steps. You're saying small.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So like, we are opening for tours this year, but on a smaller scale because we're kind of figuring it out. Like we opened the bar. And we had to figure that out.
Yes.
We've never ran a bar before. We've done beer festivals, you know, which is great.
Yeah.
People come in, you give them the beer, they go away.
You wrap up at the end of the evening, take all your bits and bobs, and you're gone. Where
here it's better because you haven't got to set up
scenario.
Again. Yeah. You have to like people might not come in at all, so you got to like factor for that. Like so it's been like the design and all of that. And then I suppose obviously environmental considerations are a big part now.
Yes.
You know, so it's all like insulation, solar, and all these different things. That's been a big part of it. We're in kind of quite a kind of environmentally sensitive area in some ways. So we have like there's a wildlife reserve, like a bird sanctuary kind of thing.
Just
here.
out beyond the Beardyman
Just
banks.
over there, yeah. And then we have the Beardyman River here running into the Kinsale estuary. You know, so we had to be super on top of any like potential leaks or discharges or anything like that.
Yes, of course.
We have a full kind of capture and treatment system.
Okay.
You know, so like all of that was all part of the design. That you know, if you're just moving into a building, you wouldn't even think about it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's so much to consider when you set out on these ventures.
Yeah, and then the questions never end. It's like, how much power do you need? How much power are you going to need in 5 years'
Yeah.
time? Yeah. So it's been like a real learning curve. We've done a lot in the kind of like, you know, the building time we've had between design, build, and getting completely finished it in.
Yeah.
So it's been challenging, but it's been great fun as well, you know.
And what innovative technologies or equipment have you incorporated into your new facility to enhance production efficiency and quality?
I suppose we've got very modern brewing equipment, and it would be one of the best brew houses, I think, in the Irish scene, you know. Yeah. A lot of automation, and on the distilling as well, we have a lot of automation. So effectively, one person can be making beer or making wash and running the stills at the same time, you know, just moving between the two. And the program is like cycling through steps on a program and doing things. You obviously have to be there to watch it. You have to put the hops in. We didn't automate that because you've got to have some fun, you know.
Yeah. When they say handcrafted, it's kind of like,
you have to do some things the way I had still.
Some of it has to be manual.
Yeah. I mean, we have our malt in is like goes straight from a hopper into a mill and it goes into a grist case and into the brew house, and that's all automated, you know. Yeah. And then emptying out the mash tun as well, it's all automated. So yeah, like that's those are the kind of jobs that nobody really wants to do, and they take a lot of time.
Yeah, true.
Now they keep you nice and skinny, like getting in and digging it all out. But it's nicer just pressing the button and watching it go, you know. CIP, so clean in place system. We have a really good clean in place system. We used to just we had like a little trolley. It was my old homebrew system.
Right.
You know, we used to have acid in one side, caustic in the other, and you go up and you connect it to the tank, you turn on the pump, and you know, it would go up and you'd hope for the best. But now we've fully integrated, so it'll clean through the brew house, through each vessel after it's done that step of the brew, it does clean. And it'll do all the brew fermenters as well and the stills.
And had you all this planned in advance of tools and equipment that have you traveled around to other breweries to see what way they function and their process and so on to learn from that?
To a certain amount, and you kind of have to keep an eye on cutting edge, what's kind of coming up. And I use there's a pro brewer forum in the US because those guys are definitely on craft beer. They've always got because they've got loads more
the latest and greatest.
There. They've got more innovative kind of manufacturing companies trying out new things. like all the good canning lines and everything like that.
Okay.
So they're always kind of on the cutting edge. I mean, the thing I'm looking at the moment is like CO2 recovery. So from the brewing process,
yes,
you recover the CO2, you compress it back down, and use that for carbonating beer or serving beer in the bar.
Right.
And that really came out of that big CO2 shortage we had like 2 years or 3 years ago.
I remember that well with sparkling water.
And that was kind of like this idea that people had, and it's like became more and more reasonable. And now there's a few companies that are doing it and offering it, you know. So they're not cheap systems, but like environmentally, obviously it's great.
And for the long term.
Cost-wise, you know, it pays itself back over time. So I don't have one yet, but it's on my list. I have a list of things I want, you know.
I'd love a brewing list. I just would love a brewing list.
You've got to get one.
Yeah. Now, building a brewery and distillery on this scale, Sam, involves a lot of decision making, I'd assume. What would you consider as the unique features or elements in your facility that sets it apart from others, whether in terms of sustainability, aesthetics, or functionality?
I suppose the two big things that make us different is, the first one is that we're a co-located brewery and distillery.
Yeah.
So you have brewing happening, distilling happening, and then you have some of those crossovers and synergies between the two, which for a visitor, it makes a unique experience to do the two in one, and you can kind of see the two processes, understand the difference between them, and that's kind of something that's unique and interesting.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, I think we're in one of the best spots. I mean, we have like lovely open, there's nothing around us, it's all open countryside. We have a big river flowing past the front door. You know, we're just basically sitting out looking over it, you know, and it's, you know, a few minutes from the town, you know, so it's beautiful. It's lovely to work here, to sit up here in the bar, or even to be down inside. You come out and it's just beautiful. Like, you know,
and it's beautiful, I would imagine, all year round. We're not talking about just, I could picture myself here, you know, outside, you know, during the summer. Like we've come here tonight. It's freezing cold out. There's ice on the road, but there's a beauty about it. We come around the corner, we see this beautiful facility lit up.
Well, the great thing with it being tidal is the view changes all the time. You know?
Of course.
So you come into work at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and it looks different every day.
Okay.
You know, it's full tide, it's just brimming the wall, and it's like super flat. On a stormy day, it's chopping up, and there's water kind of flying up.
Yeah.
So like, it's always something interesting and new to look at. Like,
and with regards to the direction of the sun, you have a very big window pane at the front. What's the direction of the sun?
South facing is that way.
Okay.
So it rises over here and it comes around this way. Yeah. So you have all day sun on the deck at the front.
Beautiful. Okay.
Not too much like thermal loading in the building for overheating. So yeah, it works really well. And we just got lucky because a lot of times buildings are facing the wrong way, and then you're kind of like trying to work back from yourself. You know? So the yard, all the kind of dirty bit at the back of house stuff is all in the shade, like, and all the fun stuff at the front is all in the sun.
And how has the local community here in Kinsale responded to the opening of the new brewery and distillery?
Yeah, it's been really positive. I mean, as I said, this was like an old wreck, a ruin of a building before. So everyone was really pleased to see that gone and something new and nice here. Obviously, we've been in Kinsale, we've been operating here for 11 years now, so we have great relationships with the pubs and restaurants, and we'd have a good reputation around the town, and we'd always support local events and things like that. So we're on good terms with everybody.
Good.
I suppose the reaction to this is really positive. It's seen as something really kind of new and exciting and kind of fresh. Coming to the town, another reason to come to Kinsale and keep that kind of tourism kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also as a local facility, a local bar or a local thing to do. So yeah, it's been a really positive reaction.
Now, Sam, I think you would agree that collaboration is key in the craft beverage industry. Have you collaborated with other local businesses or breweries around this area? And how has this collaboration enriched both your products and the local community?
Yeah, we actually just recently did a collaboration with a candle manufacturer, La Bougie.
Oh yeah.
That would be quite big. They'd be in a lot of big high-end hotels, a place like that. So they did a new candle, Pomelo, and we made a gin then to kind of match with it.
Okay.
So we had some of the same, the kind of floral flavor or aroma notes that they had in the thing. We tried to marry up with the gin.
Wow.
So we did like a Pomelo candle and gin kind of like collaboration launch, you know.
Excellent.
Which was great because it like put us in touch with their customers, and they were in touch with our customers, and the gin turned out fantastic. It's got like a lovely.
Who came up with that idea? That's just a It's an interesting marriage.
One of those conversations you have in the pub, maybe. Yeah.
Brilliant. You just got to try them out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We do a few other kind of gins for some of the businesses in town as well. Like we do one for the Blue Haven, which is kind of a big hotel pub restaurant group here. So yeah, we do like collaborations, people like that. When it comes to the likes of this beer, we use the nibs, the cacao nibs. So we'll be in touch with like a chocolate maker in
really?
actually.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and they bring them in fair trade and then we take them from them. So yeah, there's always good opportunities for collaboration on things like that. With the whiskey, we have obviously our malt, Irish malted barley. We have a farmer just outside of Kinsale. We can get malted barley, unmalted barley from for a truly local whiskey. Yeah. And then our spent grain goes back to a farmer and that gets fed to the cows.
That's very interesting.
And then the big picture idea for that is then the beef will come back in here for burgers and steaks.
Brilliant.
And things in the
So you probably have like a 12, 15 mile ethos for that return.
Yeah, as much as you can. Yes. Obviously, the hops we're getting from America.
Well, of course. Yeah.
But it's really nice to have that local tie,
Now, personally, I've been very interested in the overall theme or concept behind your brewery and distillery. How do you decide on the branding and the ambience to create a unique and memorable experience for your customers, Sam?
Yeah, I suppose through like product presentation and branding, I mean, we're trying to have a brand that's reflective of our ethos, so it's fun, it's experimental. We're the Mavericks, really. We're trying out different things, different flavors, different styles of whiskey, different types of beer. And trying to really represent that and represent us through the brand. With the new brand home here, obviously we're going to have visitor experiences starting in April this year. So we have to design an experience then that reflects that and brings people into that world too, So that's kind of one of my jobs to do over the next few months. We kind of have ideas of cool stuff that we want to do, and it's almost like, organising a kid's birthday party or something.
Right.
Like you've got all these
you have
great
a
ideas.
list where it's like, I want to keep that on the list.
You're kind of saying, I would love it if you could do this. I remember I went somewhere and we did this and it was really cool, and then you're trying to like cram that into...
Yeah, it has to be all done within reason as well.
Within reason, and it's digestible, and you're not just throwing so much stuff at people, it's just like washing over them, and obviously that will change a little bit over the time as we learn more and more. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously like, it's the face of the brand now, and we're going to have like 30,000 visitors through here. So we're going to like have a really good opportunity to explain and interact with those people, so we're really looking forward to that.
Brilliant. Now, Sam, finally, the craft beverage scene is well known for its creativity, and Blacks, in fairness, have never shied away from creativity. What upcoming projects or experimental brews or distillations can fans and customers look forward to experiencing here at Blacks?
Yeah, so I suppose we're in a really exciting phase at the moment. We're really buzzing for this year. So we have some really new exciting things coming in the portfolio on spirits. And then, as I said, we're getting back to some of our old classics and loads of different rotational stuff on the beer. So we've got loads going on that side. I probably can't say too much about some of the stuff we're doing, but we'll be doing more. Everything we're doing, we'll be doing more of everything. So we've got like ranges and interesting SKUs and lots of new and exciting things coming along. And then on the building itself, obviously we have the second phase of development, building out the big visitor attraction and the restaurant. And that's going to be all developing up as well. So we'll be busy now for the next 3 or 4 years. We're just going to be bam, 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 bam.
Wow. And do you have any plans for introducing new products, expanding distribution, or exploring additional collaborations, Sam?
Yeah, so obviously expanding distribution, we're always looking to do that. It's a key part of spirit sales because there's only so much you can sell in Ireland, and there's a massive market for Irish whiskey now globally, Yeah. So we have like loads of support from World Beer. We've got loads of trade shows on this year, all around the world, and we're visiting different markets and pushing out into different markets with the whiskey, the rum, and the gin.
Super.
On beer, we are going to probably do a big beer festival this year on site.
Okay.
Actually, we definitely are.
Okay,
and we'd like to bring in some different interesting breweries from different countries.
Oh, super.
And hopefully kick off some collaborations with them as well. If they're coming over for the festival, we do a few brews with them.
Okay.
pick some interesting styles.
Any dates, or is that kind of summer? No,
it's summer.
It's
It kind of it was agreed today in the meeting. So Friday meeting. So like by next Friday, someone will have said, right, it's going to be on August, whatever. You know.
Okay.
So we'll do it in the summer, so with nice weather.
Yeah.
We'll throw up a big marquee. We'll have maybe 10 different breweries from representing the best of the best from around Europe.
Brilliant.
And maybe some Americans if we can get some Americans that want to come over. So then do some collaborations brews with them and then push them out over the next few months after that. So really exciting.
That sounds so exciting. Just all the plans, all the developments, seeing this place here, and even just the knowledge of it expanding is just absolutely mind-blowing. I love your brand. I love what you've done here. I'm a big fan of Black's Brewery and Distilling. I just tried this one earlier on,
the Maple Mayhem. Yeah, fantastic whiskey. Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best for your future plans. And I'll definitely be seeing you during the summer for more of that festival.
You've got to come back for the festival.
I definitely will.
Come back and see all the new things that we're doing.
Cheers, Sam. Thanks so much. And so guys, there you have it. A fantastic behind the scenes view of the new brewery and distillery here in Kinsale. After chatting with Sam Black and all the information that he's shared with me, it's so exciting, the times that we have for the future of Black's. In fairness, it is a wonderful place. I've always admired the beers, and I'm now becoming, and I'm not really one for spirits, but after tasting this bad boy earlier on, I think Sam has already converted me, not just from craft beer, but to craft gin and craft spirits too. Guys, remember, if you like what you see here, please do hit that subscribe button. And for further notifications on videos like this, please do hit that notification bell. Without further ado, guys, it's me signing out. This is the Beardyman with you. Thanks very much for watching. And all the way from Kinsale here in Ireland, we give you a big sláinte. Thanks, guys.